In 1971, a small appliance, the color of harvest gold and avocado green, showed up in kitchens across North America, and it promised something almost unbelievable. Dinner, ready and waiting, for about 4 cents a day in electricity. The Crockpot wasn't actually a new idea. The slow cooking concept had existed for years as something called the Naxon Beanery, originally designed to cook a slow-simmered Sabbath stew. But when the rival company picked it up, rebranded it, and unveiled it at a Chicago housewares show in 1971, it became something else entirely. A cultural phenomenon that swept into Canadian kitchens right alongside American ones, fueled by an oil crisis that made every household obsessed with energy costs, and by a growing number of women working outside the home who needed dinner to make itself. The recipe booklets that came with those early crockpots are still around today, tucked into drawers and donated to thrift stores, and they're full of dishes with names so specific to the decade that most of them have completely disappeared from modern cooking. Today we're counting down 10 of those forgotten crockpot recipes, the ones that defined Canadian dinner tables in the 1970s and have all but vanished since. Stick around, because number 1 has a name so strange that once you hear it, you'll never forget it, even though almost nobody makes the dish itself anymore. 10. Crockpot steak soup, from the original rival recipe booklet. We're starting with a dish that appeared directly in the very first rival crockpot instruction manuals, distributed to new owners in the early 1970s. Steak soup, a hearty, stew-like dish built around cubed beef, simmered low and slow with vegetables and broth until the meat was completely tender. What made steak soup appealing in a crockpot specifically was the technique it allowed. A tougher, less expensive cut of beef, cubed and browned, could go into the pot in the morning alongside diced potatoes, carrots, celery, and tomatoes, and by dinner time, it had transformed into something rich and deeply flavored, with meat that fell apart with a spoon rather than requiring a knife. This dish represented exactly what the crockpot was being sold on: the ability to use a cheap cut of meat and turn it, through nothing but time and low heat, into something that tasted far more expensive than it actually was. Steak soup has largely disappeared from modern recipe collections, replaced by quicker beef and vegetable soups that don't require the same all-day commitment. 9. Texas hash, the one-pot ground beef dinner from the 1970s, recipe booklets. Texas hash appeared in crockpot manuals throughout the 1970s as a simple, no-fuss combination of ground beef, rice, tomatoes, and green pepper, all simmered together until the rice had fully absorbed the tomato-based sauce and the entire dish had thickened into something between a casserole and a stew. Despite the name, the dish has little documented connection to actual Texan cuisine. Like many regional names attached to budget recipes throughout the mid-20th century, it was likely meant to evoke a sense of hearty, no-nonsense cooking rather than to represent an authentic regional dish. What mattered to Canadian home cooks wasn't the name's accuracy, but the fact that ground beef, rice, and a can of tomatoes could go into the crockpot in the morning and become a complete, filling dinner with almost no hands-on effort. Texas hash has nearly vanished from modern slow cooker recipe collections, edged out by more elaborate one-pot meals that didn't exist when the original recipe was developed. 8. Chicken Lickin' Good, pork chops, the crockpot recipe with the best name of the decade. Few dishes capture the playful, slightly over-the-top naming style of 1970s recipe booklets quite like Chicken Lickin' Good pork chops, a dish that, despite its name, contained no chicken whatsoever. The recipe called for pork chops, browned briefly, and then placed in the crockpot with a sauce built from a can of condensed soup, seasonings, and often a splash of barbecue sauce, left to cook low and slow until the meat was completely tender and infused with the sauce around it. The result was a sweet, savory, fall-apart tender pork chop dinner that required almost no skill to execute correctly. The slow cooker did the work of preventing the meat from drying out, something that was notoriously easy to get wrong with a stovetop or oven method. The name itself was pure 1970s marketing flair, catchy, a little nonsensical, and instantly memorable, designed to make a basic pork chop dinner sound like something worth getting excited about. The dish, under this specific name, has essentially disappeared, though the basic technique survives in countless modern, smothered pork chop recipes that no longer carry the same playful branding. 7. Male chauvinist chili. A dish that could only have been named in the 1970s. This one earns its spot on the list almost entirely because of its title, a name that perfectly captures both the humor and the gender politics of the decade in a single recipe heading. The chili itself combined bacon, sausage, and ground beef, 3 meats in one pot, a combination meant to signal heartiness and richness, presumably aimed at male appetites the recipe's name was poking fun at. Simmered low and slow with beans, tomatoes, and chili seasoning, the dish was, by all accounts, a genuinely satisfying, meat-heavy chili that benefited enormously from the all-day cooking time, allowing the different meats to fully render their fat and flavor into the sauce. The recipe's name reflects something genuinely specific to the era, a 1970s sense of humor around gender roles in the kitchen, at a moment when more women were entering the workforce and slow cooker marketing was explicitly aimed at giving them a break from standing over a stove. Today, a recipe with this name would almost certainly never make it into a published cookbook, which is exactly why it stands out as a genuine artifact of its decade. 6. Stuffed beef heart. Organ meat cooking that vanished with a generation. This is one of the more startling entries on this list for modern readers, but it appeared as a standard recipe in Crockpot manuals throughout the 1970s, reflecting a style of cooking that simply no longer exists in most Canadian kitchens. Beef heart, stuffed with a bread-based dressing similar to a turkey stuffing, was placed whole into the crockpot and cooked low and slow for many hours, until the notoriously tough organ meat became tender enough to slice and serve like a roast. Organ meats like heart, liver, and kidney were considered both nutritious and economical throughout the mid-20th century. They were typically far less expensive than primary cuts of beef, and many households, particularly those who had grown up during the Depression or the rationing years of the Second World War, viewed using the entire animal as simply responsible cooking. The crockpot was uniquely suited to this kind of dish because the long, slow cooking time was often the only way to make tougher organ meats genuinely palatable. As organ meats fell out of favor with younger generations in the decades that followed, recipes like stuffed beef heart disappeared almost entirely from mainstream Canadian cooking, surviving today mostly in specialty or nose-to-tail cooking circles rather than home kitchens. 5. Busy Woman's Roast Chicken. The recipe that defined the Crockpot's entire marketing pitch. If there's one recipe name that captures exactly who the Crockpot was being sold to in the 1970s, it's this one. A whole roast chicken, prepared with carrots and a package of boxed stuffing mix, designed for a woman who, according to the marketing of the era, simply didn't have time to stand over a stove. The chicken went into the pot in the morning, surrounded by carrots and the prepared stuffing mixture, and by the time dinner rolled around, the entire meal, protein, vegetable, and starch, had cooked itself into a single dish, with the chicken falling tender and the stuffing absorbing all the flavorful drippings underneath it. For Canadian women entering the workforce in greater numbers throughout the decade, a recipe like this represented something genuinely valuable: the ability to put a complete, hot dinner on the table without having spent the day in the kitchen. The name itself, Busy Woman's Roast Chicken, wouldn't survive in a modern cookbook. Today's recipe titles tend to avoid such explicitly gendered framing. But the dish's underlying appeal, a complete one-pot roast chicken dinner, never really went away. It simply lost its very 1970s name along the way. 4. One-pot dinner. The recipe so basic it didn't need a real name. Sometimes a dish becomes so foundational to a decade of cooking that it doesn't even need a creative title. And one-pot dinner, exactly as plainly named in the original rival recipe booklets, represents that idea perfectly. The dish combined a protein, usually a cheaper cut of beef or a few pork chops, with a mix of root vegetables, potatoes, carrots, onions, sometimes turnip, all simmered together in a simple seasoned broth for the entire day. There was no elaborate sauce, no unusual flavor combination, and no attempt at sophistication. It was, quite literally, a complete dinner cooked in one pot, which was precisely the entire appeal of the appliance itself. This dish represents something important about crockpot cooking in the 1970s. The appliance wasn't always being used to create exciting new flavors. Often, it was simply automating a meal that families had been making for generations. A pot roast, essentially, that could simmer unattended all day, rather than requiring careful oven monitoring. The specific one-pot dinner recipe title has disappeared, even as the underlying concept of a simmered, one-vessel meal remains a slow cooker staple today. 3. Old World Sauerkraut Supper. A dish that reflected Canada's European immigrant communities. This recipe, pork or sausage simmered with sauerkraut, often with a few caraway seeds or a touch of brown sugar to balance the tang, held particular significance in Canadian kitchens, especially in communities with strong German, Ukrainian, and Eastern European roots, where sauerkraut had been a staple ingredient for generations before the crockpot ever existed. The slow cooker made an already traditional dish even easier to prepare. Sauerkraut and a cut of pork, often a shoulder or a few pork chops, went into the pot together in the morning, and the long cooking time allowed the pork to become completely tender while absorbing the tangy, fermented flavor of the sauerkraut, with the kraut itself mellowing significantly compared to its sharp, raw state. For Canadian families with this kind of heritage, the dish represented a bridge between an older style of traditional cooking and the new convenience the crockpot offered. The same flavors their grandmothers had made on a stovetop for hours, now achievable with almost no supervision. As that specific immigrant community home cooking tradition became less central to mainstream Canadian kitchens over subsequent decades, this particular sauerkraut and pork combination faded out of common recipe rotation. 2. Continental chicken. Chicken dressed up with a sophisticated-sounding name. Continental chicken occupied an interesting place in 1970s crockpot cooking, a dish that took an ordinary protein and, through naming and a slightly more involved sauce, attempted to make it feel elevated and worldly at a moment when North American home cooking was becoming increasingly fascinated with European-sounding cuisine. The chicken was typically simmered with a combination of cream of mushroom or cream of chicken soup, a splash of wine or sherry if the household had it on hand, and mushrooms, creating a creamy, rich sauce that coated the chicken as it slow-cooked to tenderness. The word continental, evoking a vague sense of European sophistication, was doing a lot of marketing work for what was, underneath the name, a fairly simple braised chicken dish. This naming convention was extremely common throughout 1970s recipe culture. Ordinary dishes given French or European-sounding names to make them feel special, without necessarily having any genuine connection to European cooking traditions. Continental chicken, under that specific name, has essentially disappeared, even though variations of creamy, slow-cooked chicken dishes remain common today under much more straightforward titles. 1. Pork chop abracadabra. The recipe name. Nobody who encountered it has ever forgotten. And here it is, the dish with, by a wide margin, the strangest name in the entire history of crockpot cooking, and one that former rival home economists still mention by name decades later when asked about the era. Pork chop abracadabra involved pork chops, browned and placed in the crockpot, covered with an entire can of cream of mushroom soup, and left to cook low and slow until the chops were completely tender and the soup had transformed into a rich, savory gravy surrounding them. The magic the name referred to wasn't culinary technique. It was the simplicity of the transformation. A few basic ingredients, almost no effort, and hours later, a fully cooked, gravy-smothered dinner appeared, as if it had assembled itself. This recipe perfectly captures the entire appeal of 1970s crockpot cooking in a single dish. Minimal ingredients, almost no skill required, and a name designed to make the whole process feel like a small kitchen miracle for households juggling work, family, and dinner all at once. The abracadabra framing wasn't subtle, but it worked. It sold an entire generation on the idea that the right appliance could make dinner appear out of almost nothing. Pork chop abracadabra, alongside its cream of mushroom soup cousins, has almost entirely vanished from modern recipe collections, viewed today as a dated relic of an era when canned condensed soup was treated as a base ingredient rather than a shortcut to avoid. But for anyone who still has an old, stained rival recipe booklet tucked in a kitchen drawer, the name alone is enough to bring back the smell of a 1970s kitchen at dinner time, instantly. 10 recipes, one small kitchen appliance that changed how an entire generation of Canadian families got dinner on the table. Some of these dishes disappeared because the ingredients fell out of favor. Organ meats, condensed soup as a base, sauerkraut suppers tied to specific immigrant traditions that have blended into the broader culture since. Others disappeared simply because their names were too specific to the decade that created them, too tied to a particular sense of humor and a particular moment in how households were changing. But the appliance itself never really left. It's still sitting on countless Canadian counters today, just with different recipes inside it. And somewhere in a thrift store bin or a grandmother's kitchen drawer, there's still an old rival manual with pork chop abracadabra printed on a stained, dog-eared page, waiting to be found again.